Right, hello guys, and welcome to today's video. In today's video, we're going to be discussing a topic, but first of all, just going to tell you that this gameplay can be seen in the background. Yes, it is an M4, I know, it's the only gun in the game that seems to exist, as well as the 725. But, hopefully, as I'm recording this video, they did just announce that maps are coming tomorrow for free, so hopefully a big update will be coming, and they'll be nerfing this. But this gameplay is a 43-4 gameplay with the M4, pretty decent gameplay, pretty good in my opinion. Again, dying only 4 times in a full-length ground war game, that's pretty good in my opinion. But anyway, we're not going to be talking about the gameplay. We're going to be talking about this big problem that I'm hoping gets fixed tomorrow, which isn't actually really gameplay related, or anything to do with weapon balance, or how people... well, it kind of has a bit to do with how people play, but what am I talking about? I'm going to talk about skill-based matchmaking. Now, I know what some people might say, which is, there's no proof that it's in the game. I don't need... I'm not going to have this... you need scientific proof of it's in the coding that skill-based matchmaking is. There's a thing called feeling, you know? And you can feel when something's a little bit different from other games, for instance. I could go back to Black Ops 4 right now and face players who essentially don't know what they're doing. And also play on connections that I'd say are a lot better. Which is weird, because Black Ops 4 connections were pretty tragic for most of the part. But Modern Warfares are also just as bad. Because I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed, a lot of players who are not from your country seem to be in your lobbies. Now, this doesn't affect me because I have a net Duma, so I play on 30 ping, so I don't have this problem. But when you're facing someone with a bad connection, that can lead to a bit of inconsistency. Sometimes people have bad connections that don't benefit them, sometimes they have bad connections that do benefit them, sometimes they skip around, sometimes they lag around corners, sometimes they kill you around a wall, etc, etc. So already, this is my big complaint here, is the skill-based matchmaking, which I'm just not even going to deny, I'm not even going to have it that it's not in the game. It's in the game. I'm facing people who think they're MLG pro stars, which isn't a problem, right? I don't mind facing people as good as me or better than me, but when that comes at the expense of my connection, or, my ability to kill someone because their connection is terrible, that's a big no-no. And I kind of think this is a problem as well, just in general, because the skill-based matchmaking, we all know why it's in the game. We all know why it's here for, and it's here to help those who are lesser skilled, those who need a helping hand, those who need to get better at the game, sort of thing. And this system is flawed throughout every game I've ever seen. It just doesn't work. It doesn't help make those players better. If anything, it's a less satisfying thing. I've noticed that I've seen that people have put on the Reddit forums, for instance, for Modern Warfare for a start. There are players who are around the 1 KD mark, and they'll have a great game. They'll go, say, 20-4 or something, and then the next game they'll go 5-20. Because the way this works is, once you've mastered your, the section of skill you are in, you then get promoted to the next section of skill, which this is probably either based by your score per minute, or your KD, or both. I don't know how it works in this game. But for instance, let's say it's Fortnite. Fortnite has this example of skill-based matchmaking, and it's probably based off your wins. The more you win, the more you're going to face people with better skill. And then it reaches a point where you can't beat those people, and then you just go down and down, and then you just ultimately go back down to the bracket that you were already in. Now, obviously, I'm talking it from a very casual and very basic standpoint, but, there's probably more to it than just that. At least I hope there is. But, essentially, skill-based matchmaking is never going to help you improve. You're only ever going to go ever so high, and then all the way back down just to go back up again. You just be stuck in this limbo of playing in the same bracket of skill. But essentially, if skill-based matchmaking worked the exact way that people wanted it to work, everyone would have a 1 KD. As far as Call of Duty goes, everyone would have a 1 KD, because you'd kill people who are worse than you, but then you'd die to the people who are better than you. And you'd just be stuck in this limbo of playing people on the same KD level as you. And let's talk about the other reason why this is flawed. So the other reason why this is flawed, now I don't know who's doing this on YouTube and whatnot, but there's a lot of insane gameplays going around, and the problem is, it's hard to believe which ones are actually real as far as not being reverse boosted, because this is the problem. Reverse boosting just throws skill-based matchmaking out of the wall. And the problem is, it's hard to sit there and say who's doing it and who's not, Because you can reverse boost essentially by playing the game but in a dumb way. So if you're somebody who wants to go around and have fun and play with a throwing knife, that's all well and great, but you're probably going to die a ton of times, and then you're going to be put in a really low KD bracket or a really low skill bracket. And then once you've done that, you'll face some people when you say you want to try hard and you want to use an M4 or 725, again, prayers that they get nerfed tomorrow. But yeah, if you do that, then you can go and use an M4 and you're going to be playing people, you know, who are worse than you and aren't really going to shoot back because you've essentially made your KD or skill bracket worse through simply just playing the game in a way that isn't going to benefit you, or as far as like getting a good scoreline or that. So it's just such a flawed system, and this is my gripe with this. Like, it needs to be removed from the game, and this is a thing in gaming in general. I've never noticed skill-based matchmaking to ever help or benefit these players, because one, the players who are really hardcore about getting gameplays are just going to reverse boost. It doesn't matter. They're going to reverse boost, they're going to get gameplays, and they're going to ruin their experience. This is why random matchmaking has always been the best, because you get to face people who are better than you sometimes, people who are worse than you sometimes, and at the end of the day, guys, if a player who is bad isn't enjoying the game, there is always the quick game function, okay? Now, we don't like people leaving games, but they can leave the game and find another lobby that is better than for them. And also, Call of Duty has this amazing thing called combat training. And I don't know why, because the last time they ever did something with this that actually could have helped, you know, these players, was Black Ops 2. Now, yes, I played in that playlist, the combat training players, where there was like, I think it was 3 bots and 3 real players. Some people went in there for gameplays, and those people, I'm sorry, but you guys, if you did that, it's just sad, okay? I'm going to be honest. You should have been playing public matches. You should have basically been locked out of that playlist. Obviously, there was a level 1 to 10 boot camp, which you could only get in if you were level 10 and below. But then you had actual combat training that didn't affect stats, didn't affect anything like that. But I used to go in there sometimes just to mess around and try out new weapons. And there were people trying for nukes, like AN-94, C4s. It was ridiculous. It was actually ridiculous. And those people ruined that playlist. But there should have been a playlist for these players. Essentially, if you're someone who is not good at the game, like, I don't know how from an engineering point of view, how you could recognize a player being bad. Obviously, there's stats and stuff. That doesn't say a lot, especially if there's someone who just messes around with snipers or knives and suddenly they pull out an M4 and they're like a god. You know what I mean? It's difficult, but if they had a combat training playlist or just something that just... Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if they're leveling up through it or if it doesn't affect stats. Who cares? Who honestly cares if it doesn't affect someone's stats? I don't care about stats. I don't think anyone should care about stats. Stats are pretty pointless. At the end of the day, a gameplay is a gameplay, and if you have a good game, you have a good game. But there should be a combat training playlist for these players to go to. Instead of ruining the fun, because essentially the skill-based matchmaking just ruins the fun for everyone involved. It doesn't help these new players. If anything, they get their fun ruined more because these great players who want easy gameplays will just reverse boost and then just ruin the fun anyway. And then on top of that, these hardcore players who are like 2KD players and stuff like that, they're just gonna, you know, face people with 2Ks, and then what's the point, for instance, if this game does eventually add ranked playlists, which I don't know if it will. I don't think it will, to be honest, but we'll see. If they add a competitive playlist, what's the point in playing it? When pubs is essentially the same thing. If you're playing people with your same skill of around 2KDs or 3KDs or whatever, what's the point in going to a ranked playlist to essentially play the same thing? Especially as the ranked playlist will probably have less players in it, in which you'll just get worse connections than you already are in pubs because of the people you're facing. Again, this isn't affecting my connection as much, because again, I can force myself to be on a server that's 30 ping or less. But for some of you playing, let me know in the comment section below. Are you guys having bad connections in Modern Warfare? Just want to know. I want to see the comment section. What your connections are like. Like, are you feeling like your connections are worse? Are you connecting to countries that you shouldn't be, like nations, like even continents? Who knows? Because I've seen it. I've seen it myself. I've seen players from like, I don't know what, and then there are people who've had like Chinese names. Now I don't know if it's people just putting Chinese names or what. I've seen Chinese named players in my lobbies. China, like stuff like that, and there are people who play from like, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, stuff like that. Places where they shouldn't be connected to me, and essentially it makes their gameplay worse, like their game worse for them, or it makes the game worse for me because I can't kill them because they're skipping everywhere. It's just annoying. Again, my big thing for this is skill-based matchmaking has no place in video games at all, except for when you have a ranked playlist. In the ranked playlist, yes, have as strict skill-based matchmaking as possible. You know, elo rating, all that stuff. But in public matches, especially for a casual shooter like Call of Duty, because again, I've never seen a game ever benefit from skill-based matchmaking. I can't tell you how many times I've watched Fortnite try and improve their game by essentially catering to the bad players, but it just doesn't work. And if anything, I've seen that Fortnite's been going downhill ever since then. You know, they're losing more and more players, less and less people in playing. The content creators that I've seen who used to play it aren't playing. They're actually playing COD at the moment, hoping that this game's update will fix the issues such as the weapon balance and that. But ultimately, I think the skill-based matchmaking is a big part of this. These weapons, like the M4 and the 725, are used by the most hardcore of players because they want to do as well as possible. And if these two guns are so blatantly overpowered that they're the best ways to get the best KD and best gameplays, these hardcore players can use it. And that's why you're seeing so many people use an M4 or a 725, because the people you're matching with aren't people who don't know what they're doing. They're people who know how to play the game. They know how to shoot, they know how to aim. And essentially, think of this, imagine facing yourself 5 times over in a gunfight. How would you play that gunfight? How would you play a gunfight against yourself, say 5 times in a row, just to get a 5 kill streak? What would you do? Is there anything you'd do differently? What's the best way at the moment in this game that you can do to essentially beat yourself? Is camp, no? And that's why camping is a big one, because these good players who face other good players know that as long as they're stationary and set up with their assault rifle or their 725 on a head glitch or in some, you know, close quarters with the 725, they're going to win that gunfight regardless if you're the person running in there or sprinting or even walking. At the end of the day, if that person's set up, they're going to win that gunfight 9 times out of 10. And that's the problem with it. Again, skill-based matchmaking has no place in a game like Call of Duty. I don't think it has a place in any game at all, unless there's a ranked playlist. In the ranked playlist, go nuts with the skill-based matchmaking. Make sure those people are facing people of equal skill. But this is a casual FPS shooter in which you just want to hop on and play the game like everyone else. Again, people will be like, oh, you just want to beat bad players. No, that's not the case at all. But random matchmaking has always been the best form of matchmaking. Again, we didn't have these problems with like MW2, MW3, Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, because there was no such thing as this ridiculous amount of skill-based matchmaking. Maybe there was skill-based matchmaking, but it wasn't to the levels that it is in this game, where essentially it is sacrificing the connections just to make sure you play someone who's as good as you. That's just not right. The game's quality should be over whether, you know, should be more important than whether or not you're getting a good gameplay against little Timmy with no thumbs. That's the problem here. Again, it's a casual FPS shooter. If I have no problem facing good players, but that's where random matchmaking comes in. I don't mind facing people from time to time who are better, but I don't want to play every single game like it's an MLG match against people who are either playing on 100 ping, I'll be playing like on over 50 ping, I don't know. I just don't want to play on bad connections just because I have to face someone who's as good as me or an MLG sweat tryhard, you know, you name it. I don't want to do that. I don't think anyone wants to do that. But let me know in the comment section below, guys, what you think, and whether you think skill-based matchmaking has a place in this game, and what you think of skill-based matchmaking. Because again, I'm not going to have this like, it hasn't been proven it's not in the game. It's in the game, okay? You can tell by feel that it's in the game. So, I don't know what to say, guys, but this gameplay will be wrapping up in about a minute or two. But I just wanted to do this little rant, because again, I feel that skill-based matchmaking is so ridiculous in video games at the moment. It just doesn't help any game. I've never seen it. If someone could put in the comment section below as well, any game that has ever benefited from skill-based matchmaking, like as its like core component of the game, that the whole game runs off of skill-based matchmaking, please. Besides maybe CSGO, I think CSGO, but I think even that has a casual playlist in which there's no skill-based matchmaking. But please, let me know in the comments section below what you think of skill-based matchmaking, whether or not it has a place in video games in general, because I think it's just outrageous, to be honest. I think it's so ridiculous and ludicrous to have it in this game, to try and have fun. It's just out of order. But yeah, the gameplay's wrapped up. Again, a 43 and 4. Absolutely insane gameplay M4. I hope you enjoyed today's gameplay commentary / run. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. But yeah, I hope you do enjoy today's video. If you do, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe and notifications on. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Goodbye.